Post-deadline deal confirmed as Sandro Tonali'S agent responds to rumours. Arsenal were unable to reinforce their senior squad during the January transfer window, instead focusing on youth recruitment. Meanwhile, Sandro Tonali'S agent has addressed reports linking the Newcastle midfielder with a late move to the Emirates. With the winter window now closed, Arsenal failed to secure any first-team additions as they push towards a Premier League title challenge. Mikel Arteta's side must now rely on the current squad after several late attempts to bring in reinforcements came to nothing. Concerns grew after Mikel Merino suffered a foot injury, prompting the club to investigate last-minute options for midfield cover. However, despite Arteta openly admitting the club was searching the market, no suitable deal materialized. Speaking about the situation, Arteta said, "We have to do everything we can to see if there is a player available. If not, we keep what we have. At this level, especially for the next few months, you need someone who can adapt immediately and make an impact. That's very difficult, but we must try to find solutions." Reports had suggested Newcastle midfielder Sandro Tonali could be offered to Arsenal on deadline day, with claims his representatives approached the North London club. Tonali, 25, is believed to be admired by Arsenal, but both clubs quickly played down the speculation. Now Tonali's agent Gyökeres has firmly denied the story. Speaking to Sky Italia, he said, "We never spoke with Arsenal. Newcastle were never prepared to let Tonali go in January. There is nothing in these rumours at all. We didn't even discuss it." Although Arsenal missed out on first-team signings, they did confirm the arrival of teenager Evan Mooney from St Mirren after the deadline had passed. The 18-year-old will join the club's academy setup. It is understood the deal is worth an initial £400,000, with a further £400,000 in potential add-ons and a sell-on clause included. Arsenal announced. "Everyone at Arsenal would like to congratulate Evan and welcome him to the club." Arsenal vs Chelsea, latest injury news. Arsenal and Chelsea meet on Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg, with the Gunners holding a narrow advantage following their 3-2 victory at Stamford Bridge in the first leg. A place at Wembley is at stake, and both sides are dealing with injury concerns. Merino will not be ruled out for the season despite suffering a fractured foot, Arteta confirmed. "He needs surgery, which is never ideal. He's a big player for us, and it's a big blow. Daumann is nearing a return, but is still expected to miss the next couple of weeks," Arteta explained. "It will take a bit longer than Mosquera. He's still growing, so we need to be careful. He also has school commitments, but he's close and already back on the pitch." Bukayo Saka doubt. Arteta said, "We have to wait and see. He felt better today, but we need to monitor his reaction before making a decision. It doesn't look too serious." Tosin Adarabioyo out. Rosnia confirmed. Tosin was back on the pitch today doing individual rehab work. The defender is expected to return within the next 2 weeks. Arsenal still able to make late transfer due to Premier League rule as deadline clarified. Although Arsenal were largely inactive during the January transfer window, they may still be able to complete one final signing because of a Premier League registration regulation. The window may be closed, but the Gunners retain a brief opportunity to add another player to their squad, with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain emerging as a possible option. The former England international, who has recently been training with the club's under-21s, can still be registered under league rules. Players without a club must normally be signed by Thursday, February 5. However, if a team submits its squad list with unused places, it can register an additional player up until March 26. At present, Arsenal have used only 21 of their available 25 senior squad slots. Christian Mosquera and Miles Lewis-Skelly are both listed as under-21 players, meaning their places do not count towards the limit. Oxlade-Chamberlain is being discussed as a short-term solution, particularly with Mikel Merino set for a long spell on the sidelines after suffering a foot injury against Manchester United that will require surgery. The former Arsenal and Liverpool midfielder has been without a club since leaving Besiktas last summer. Just hours before the transfer deadline on Monday, manager Mikel Arteta played down the idea of bringing him in as a temporary replacement. However, Arteta admitted the club are assessing all possible options. He said, "Of course, when you lose an important player, with several months of the season still to go and multiple competitions to play in, you have to consider your options. We must do everything we can to see if a player is available. If not, we continue with what we have. At this level, over the next 4 months, any player must be able to adapt quickly and make an immediate impact. That isn't easy, but we have to look for solutions." Oxlade-Chamberlain, who spent 6 years at Arsenal between 2011 and 2017, has been working on his fitness and even took part in a senior training session in late January. Elsewhere, Arsenal completed 2 late deals on deadline day, signing Evan Mooney and Jadon Dixon from St Mirren and Stoke City. Meanwhile, Louis Copley, Ethan Nwaneri, and Will Sweet departed on loan, while Maldini Kakari, Oleksandr Zinchenko and Osman Kamara left the club permanently.